I understand. Part of the friggin' problem is you never show up when you're supposed to, and you roll in the middle of the day and you're rude to my clerks, and everybody has to drop what they're doing to deal with your. All right, let's get up to speed here. I thought we were finished for the day, but this often happens. Somebody will come in and we'll need to address a matter. We're preparing for a jury trial in the morning, but this is an unscheduled arraignment in the matter of Jacob Allen Britton, Brittten. File number is 202417. Luke Knopfsinger is his attorney, and I reached out to Luke, and he has agreed to join us, and he's here by Zoom, which we greatly appreciate. There's presently a bench warrant out for Mr. Britton's arrest, but the fact is he's presented himself here at the court, wishes to get the case back on track. So let's see what we can figure out. Are you Jacob Allen Britton?
I am.
All right, and he got a ticket way back in August of 2020 for driving suspended. He did not show up for his original arraignment date on August 5th of 2020. So we entered a warrant mask and issued a warrant for his arrest. Took a while, maybe January of 21. He never showed up, as far as I can tell. It was a $500 warrant. The defendant called in May of 2021. Spoke with clerks. He was rude and continued to state he needed a court date with a magistrate. So I'm not sure what happened. They went around and around, and we got his information and set up a Zoom arraignment in May of 21. And he didn't show up then either. So we had some further stuff. He was suspended for not paying some tickets in Kalamazoo. We set a pretrial. He was going to pay some things off in June of 20. So he didn't show up. He got arrested on June 2nd because he didn't show up on May 28th. So we set a show cause hearing for June 14th. Didn't show up for that. Then I rescheduled it for July 6th. He didn't show up for that. Okay. So on, just a minute, on July 6th, I issued a bench warrant for his arrest and set bond at $500. He got arrested again in October of 21 and posted a bond. He got arrested on the 16th of October. I think posted bond on the 19th. So he did show up for his Zoom arraignment. He pled not guilty, and I appointed Luke Knopfsinger. I told the defendant to call the court in Kalamazoo and find out what he needed to do to clear up his Kalamazoo issues. So we set a attorney pretrial with Luke Knopfsinger as his attorney for December 3rd. The defendant again didn't show up. So I issued another bench warrant with bond at $500. So now the defendant is here. I think he's failed to appear like 4 separate times. Anyway, he's here now. Mr. Knopfsinger is here. Probably didn't have much contact with him. So
Zero contact.
What's going on here, Mr. Britton? And
I have a question, just to clarify. The June 2nd, what was that incident? You said I was arrested there, and then in your language you were speaking, you said on October 16th I was arrested again. I don't recall the June 2nd being
let's see here. It
arrested.
says June 2nd, arrested. Warrant returned June 2nd. You got arrested on June 2nd. We gave you a pretrial date for June 14th. They didn't show up for that. So I set it again for July 6th. You didn't show up for that. According to our records, you got arrested in June. You got arrested in October. You spent 1 day in June and 3 days in October.
That's not accurate at all.
All right. Well, why are you here today?
to try to dispose of this matter, because I feel like that record that's on record here on behalf of me is just really not accurate. The underlying issue.
I don't mean to interrupt, but
Yeah.
And I know I'm sort of late to this, right? I was appointed in, I think, November, December of last year. And, you know, I see a long case history here. I also see a speeding ticket in Kalamazoo. It appears that that's unpaid.
No, it's paid. They're paid.
It is paid? Okay.
See, I'm trying to get to this explanation here. All these issues are taken care of. I even got a letter from the Department of State from state of Michigan that says that my license should have never been suspended in the first place because it was suspended for a failure to appear or a failure to comply with a judgment, which is illegal to suspend like my license for. I got a letter. It's in my car. This is why I said I would go to my car and get a piece of evidence because I thought it was relevant. And they asked the guards to then, hey, you can't leave the building. And this is where I think it escalated in a little bit of tension here. But it's just a letter from the Department of State of the state of Michigan that says that my license can't be suspended for a failure to appear or a failure to comply, which is what this all has started from in the first place.
Well,
all the other issues I've taken care of, all the charges. So
what happened is they changed the rules.
Right.
At the time you got suspended, the state of Michigan suspended people's license for failing to appear on a citation. That's FAC. And failing to pay, which is FCJ.
Okay.
They changed the rules to your benefit and said, we're no longer going to suspend you for failing to appear or failing to pay. So I don't know why anybody's going to pay. But
here I am trying to pay still.
All right. At the time you were suspended, they were justified. They changed the law. And so I had the clerk run your driving record. And I think you're right. I think a lot of this stuff has been cleared up. I don't know whether you paid it or not, or they just changed the law and
I got the receipts in my car too. I've been going to courthouses and paying it and taking care of all of it.
All right,
well, that's very good.
All right.
So I guess all
right, well, just a minute. We've still got problems.
Yeah, there's still, and I understand.
Part of the friggin' problem is you never show up when you're supposed to, and you roll in the middle of the day and you're rude to my clerks, and everybody has to drop what they're doing to deal with your
I'm sorry if it comes off being rude, but I feel like it's a little bit of passion on my side because I think I've been mistreated a little bit
along the way. Well, you show up at random in the middle of an afternoon and say, hey, everybody drop what you're doing. I'm here. I want to take care of my problems. And then you're rude to my clerks. And there's nothing that makes me angrier than people are rude to them. They're just doing their job.
True.
Plus, you drove here today and you don't have a valid driver's license. We have you on video pulling into our parking lot in your car and you don't have a valid license. So you're either going to walk home or you're going to call somebody to come pick you up. Or I'll let you drive away and 3 blocks from now, I'll have the Centerville Police Department arrest you for driving suspended. So you need to take a pill here for a minute and listen to what I got to say. I'm going to set this for a further pretrial to figure this all out, and I'm going to recall the bench warrant that's presently out for your arrest. So we are accomplishing something here.
What is the issue that we have to have a trial over or a pretrial?
Well, you're claiming you weren't suspended. The prosecutor filed a complaint and says that you were. Let's look at the original ticket.
Wouldn't it be like moot at this point?
No. It's whether you were suspended on that day on October 23rd, 2020. You were going in the no speeding zone where everybody speeds, US 131 and Muskrat Road at 73 miles an hour. You got pulled over by a deputy from the sheriff's department.
I believe I was suspended that day. Accurately, yes.
All right. So the fact that you were suspended is an issue. The next issue is, can you get unsuspended? So let's take a look at what you've been doing. You had a failed to stop. Now, this was in October of 20.
Yes, and your record says that I spent 3 days in jail on this, and I did not.
All right, that may just, we'll track that down. You got another ticket. Yes. On October 16th of 21.
I rear-ended somebody in Cass County.
All right. And then you got a ticket from 5/6 of 20. This is the one that I think got you suspended. a Kalamazoo ticket for speeding, and it was a failure to answer citation. I think that's been cleared. You
Is that the
also
8-1?
you had a failed display of valid license from Calhoun County. I think that's been cleared.
That's a whole
So
different
on
story.
10/1 of 21, you were suspended from 10/6/20 through 10/1/21. That is cleared. And then they cleared your FC. So I think you may be eligible to get your license back. It's presently expired. So
Right.
you're not-
I
you're not
have
able
kind
to
of
drive.
been neglecting to follow up with anything with my license until I was able to get it reinstated.
All right,
So,
this thing is
I'm
still
fine.
pending. The allegation is you were suspended on the 23rd of October of 2020. So I appointed a lawyer, Mr. Knopfinger, to represent you. Did you ever contact Mr. Knopfinger?
I don't believe so, no.
I think it's
Well, and then you did, so he was here. He was physically here in the building, or at least here by Zoom to handle this, and the prosecutor was here, you weren't. So you're here, so I'm not inclined to do the bench warrant. I'm inclined to recall the bench warrant. And gonna set an attorney pretrial for April 4th, April 1st. What time are your pretrials, Luke?
usually at 8:30.
8:30. So, Mr. Britton, I'm not saying you don't have some valid issues which would cause the prosecutor to amend the charge. They could amend it to something that wouldn't affect your ability to get your license. But you need to sit down with your lawyer and go over that, because the prosecutor's not here and they're not a part of this discussion. It looks like some tickets you may have paid, and some things the law has changed, which clears up some of those fail to comply with judgment citations and fail to answer citations. But your license is expired. I'm going to give you a notice right here, right now, for you to be here.
So currently going forward, my license is expired, not suspended, like as of right now.
Yeah,
That's what it looks like to me.
Okay, all right, because I think that's a better status than being suspended.
I think it is
Yeah,
too.
it is.
It means there may be a light at the end of the tunnel.
Right, well, and that's what I'm trying to get to.
Well, I don't blame you. That's a worthwhile goal, but you've done a very poor job of it
Well,
by
I had to,
continuing not showing up.
I've had other obligations, like I've had to be at work, I have to make money to pay these fines and fees. I can't just, not do stuff with my life and just sit at home and hope these things resolve themselves. So perhaps I don't come to those meetings or make those court hearings because the things in Kalamazoo aren't cleared up yet. So what's the point? What the things in Cass County haven't been cleared up yet. So what's the point?
The point is, it's a lawfully scheduled hearing on a criminal case. Keep talking, and I'm going to serve the warrant, let you sit in jail for a $400 bond. I expect you to be here.
Wasn't
Not
trying to be
the
disrespectful in what I was
inconvenience.
saying.
It's a court, you're charged with a crime, which could suspend your license and make your life miserable for the next 2 years. And then you come rolling in out of the blue and we're supposed to fix everything. Well, I'm willing to fix it, but you got to put some effort into this.
I was hoping to show that that's what I've been trying to do.
All right. Well, the first problem is you have a lawyer, and I'm not supposed to talk to you without your lawyer being here. And he graciously appeared to show up instantly.
Appreciate that.
You never made the effort to even contact him. You must appear in court on Friday, April 1st at 8:30 a.m. Courtroom C. for a pretrial conference with attorney. Call attorney Luke Knopfsinger. All right, so I'm going to give you this. I want you to call Mr. Knopfsinger. Would you? Well, I'm just going to have you call him and talk to him. You live in Schoolcraft. He's a very competent lawyer. He does some criminal prosecutions for the village of Centerville. He knows how to read a driving record. He knows how to discuss things with the prosecutor. He can probably get to a light at the end of the tunnel with this offense called allowing another to violate the motor vehicle code, which would be a possibility. But the biggest problem is, do you have a phone with you?
Yeah.
You need to call somebody to bring a licensed driver to drive you away, or you're going to get arrested before you get out of Centerville.
Right.
All right. So
Yeah. No, I was actually going to ask if there was like a coffee shop or a restaurant or somewhere close by I can go sit while I wait for somebody.
there is. There's, well, it's farther than there's a. The only walking distance is the post office and the local, but I don't think the local's open on Tuesdays. There's Yoder's and McDonald's that's just way down the road. Anyway, all right, Mr. Britton, I've recalled the bench warrant. I've scheduled a hearing with your attorney for April 1st at 8:30. The prosecutor will be here. I'm not doing this by Zoom. You got to be here. Luke, you can appear by Zoom. We'll get this thing resolved. Are you still at the U Avenue address?
I don't know. It's a long walk from here.
Well, is that where you live?
If I can get there, I don't have like licensed drivers and make resources to help me. So whatever. Yes, that's where I live.
Okay, because I'm gonna. All right. Does your phone number still end in 6?
I think you can direct all contacts to that man.
All right. Well, fair enough. All right. You can go. I want you to call him, discuss this with him. Perhaps we can resolve the whole thing on April 1st. The good news is that
My thighs will be strong by then.
perhaps. All right. You're good to go. Another satisfied customer. Is about that far from going out the back door. All right, Luke, best of luck with that. And see if you can pull a rabbit out of a hat. Thank you. I do appreciate you coming in on short notice.
Yeah, no problem.
All right. We do have a new driving record that Sarah just ran today, and we'll have that mailed for review.
So just to be clear, the little thing in the unpaid ticket in Kalamazoo has been paid?
I can't tell because the law changed, lifted the suspensions for some of these FCJs and FACs. So, but it does appear the only thing he is expired. So one piece of advice would to send him to the SOS to get his license reinstated. All right.
That's pretty straightforward. Okay, thanks, Judge. We'll see you.
All right, thanks. And we'll figure out how many days he did actually spend in jail.
Yeah.
And